I'm Anjali Sud, and last summer, I became CEO of Vimeo, the world's largest ad-free online video platform. When I stepped into the role, it was a particularly challenging and pivotal time. We had spent the last few years investing in original content to make Vimeo an entertainment destination, similar to Netflix. It was our big bet for the future. But as we progressed, more competitors flooded the market, and those competitors began spending billions of dollars on original content. And it became clear that we were in a situation where we couldn't differentiate, and we needed to change. So in my first 90 days as CEO, we implemented radical change that set Vimeo on a new course. And today I want to share my lessons from that journey. But first, I'll start with some context for how we got here. Vimeo was founded in 2004 as one of the first places to share videos on the internet. We built the world's first HD video player, and over time, Vimeo evolved into the home for the independent filmmaker community. Those filmmakers brought unique content to the platform, which in turn brought viewers. Over 200 million monthly viewers, to be exact. That's a bigger audience than BuzzFeed, Vice, ESPN, the New York Times. So what do you do with all those viewers? Well, Vimeo had been built on the premise of offering an ad-free viewing experience. It was what differentiated us from YouTube. So we couldn't monetize our audience with ads, and we turned to subscriptions, and we pursued a Netflix model. The thesis was that we could invest in content from the best of the Vimeo creator community and become an entertainment destination that viewers would pay and subscribe to watch. So we entered the content wars. We worked with well-known and up-and-coming talent, including the creators of High Maintenance, which is a program that airs on HBO today, Aidy Bryant, a comedian from Saturday Night Live, Bianca Del Rio of RuPaul's Drag Race. But the market changed. The price of original content went from millions to billions, seemingly overnight, and that trend would only continue. These numbers are expected to at least triple by 2020. So we found ourselves in a war we couldn't win, and in my first 90 days as CEO, we shut down all of our efforts in original content. And my job was to bring Vimeo back to its roots as the home for creators to make and share their stories. We also turned to a different business model, software as a service, or SaaS. Think Dropbox, where instead of monetizing our audience, we offer paid subscription plans for creators to access advanced tools on the platform. So it turns out SaaS is a great business model. Subscribers are incredibly sticky. They stay for years, and you can continually launch new features and plans to increase their lifetime value. In the last few months, there have been a ton of SaaS companies that have gone public, and that market is expected to exceed $76 billion by 2020. Not bad. And so, Vimeo transitioned from being a media company that invests in content to becoming a technology company that invests in creators. Since pursuing this strategy, our growth has re-accelerated. We are now growing faster than we were in our earlier years off a much bigger revenue base. And today we have over 80 million members who are uploading and sharing incredible stories every millisecond from countries around the world. Our creators are a diverse bunch. They are Hollywood actors. They are artists, animators, videographers, and experimenters who are pushing the boundaries of storytelling. We've also seen tremendous growth among businesses and brands who are using video to reach new audiences. The World Economic Forum in Davos uses Vimeo to live stream their conference. Companies like Spotify, WeWork, Patagonia, everything from fashion shows to meetups to comet landings are using our technology. And even though we decided not to launch our own Netflix, We are building the tools for others to launch theirs. Vimeo technology powers today over 500 over-the-top channels in genres ranging from fitness to sports to comedy to independent film to instructional video. As more people are cutting the cord and rejecting the traditional TV and studio system, we're building the tools to help creators build their own video businesses on their own terms. So now I want to share some lessons from those first 90 days of change at Vimeo. The first is to rip off the bandaid. This is easy in theory, but as I learned, incredibly hard in practice. When I stepped in as CEO, I suddenly became the boss of people who had previously been my peers and in some cases my seniors. We had to shut down our recently built office in Los Angeles where we had hired a team to invest in content acquisition. We had to reallocate large portions of our product and technology teams to work on brand new projects. And I had to build an executive leadership team. A couple of things that I learned. Don't be afraid to do the right thing, even if it's unpopular. As a new CEO, I wanted to start off on the right foot. You want to be liked. But what I learned is that by being willing to make the tough decisions, and so sometimes uncomfortable decisions, my team respected me more in the long run. Another thing I learned is that everything starts with vision and values. In my first few weeks, we redefined Vimeo's vision and our company values. This was a critical exercise that involved people across the company, and it helped us coalesce around a single goal. It also helped us process the changes that were going around and put them in the context of what was right for Vimeo in the long term. Last, if you're going to make change, do it all at once and do it quickly. It's really easy to want to make some changes now, wait a couple months, make some later, wait a couple months, make some later. But that puts a real toll on your team. You're asking them to adjust, get used to the status quo, adjust again. People don't like change. It's hard and it's scary. And so you owe it to them to move quickly. And what I really learned is that when change happens at the top, people expect it to happen everywhere. Another lesson is to look where others aren't looking. I didn't start as CEO of Vimeo. I came to the company years earlier. I was in a marketing role and eventually moved on to oversee the creator side of the business. And when I did that, that side of the business wasn't really the area of focus. Tools just weren't as sexy as content. So no one was really paying attention to what me and my team were doing. And being under the radar turned out to be a really great thing. We could quietly invest, move quickly, break some shit, and slowly start to show results before we had the high stakes and the scrutiny. We had the room to reinvent things. And there are companies that do this well. Slack is a great example. They turned boring office communication into a new way of expressing yourselves at work, often with a stunning array of emojis. And look at the mattress industry. Mattresses have been around for centuries, but startups like Casper are taking a different approach, and they're literally waking up a sleepy industry. Another area where looking where others aren't looking is it actually helped me from a professional perspective take on and own a business without a lot of experience. I had the passion, and frankly, no one else was doing it. So our investors could take a chance on me, and I had the chance to prove myself as a leader. Third is to own your shortcomings. I really believe that being self-aware and vulnerable as a leader is a sign of strength, not weakness. And the same goes for business. The more self-aware we are about our shortcomings, the better we can solve them. A good example for Vimeo was in the area of live streaming. Last year, live streaming was the #1 feature request among our creator community, and we didn't have the capability. So we assembled a small team to build it ourselves. And after months of working on the project, it became clear that we could launch something good, but not great. We simply lacked the institutional knowledge and expertise to build the best live streaming product on the market. So we were honest about that, and we looked at alternatives, and that ultimately led us to acquire Livestream, a company that has spent the last 10 years perfecting the science and art of live video. And the combination of Vimeo and Livestream proved to be a powerful one. Now we have the best solution on the market for professional live streaming. We also have access to a suite of hardware that Livestream built that allows us to lower the barriers for anyone getting started with live. Show you an example. So this is Mevo. Mevo is the world's only live event camera built by Livestream. This little guy really puts the power of a live TV studio in your pocket for less than the cost of an iPhone. It's actually launching in Europe in a few weeks. This is the type of product that Vimeo would never have built ourselves. We're not a hardware company. It's not in our DNA. But by being aware of our shortcomings and proactively trying to find a solution, we went from playing catch-up to leapfrogging the market in live. Fourth lesson is to lead with mission, execute with focus. Vimeo's mission is to empower creators to tell exceptional stories. Now, that's an easy thing to say, but what we found is we operate in a fast-changing industry. It's undergoing rapid transformation, so it's really easy to get distracted by what others are doing around you. But my job is to bring clarity to our team, and so we've tried really hard to stay 100% focused on that mission, and that means being willing to make the hard trade-offs when you need to. That's why, after 14 years, we still say no to ads on Vimeo, despite the fact that we could make a lot of money by putting advertising on your videos. Another example is our approach to competition. YouTube has been our #1 competitor since we were founded. But YouTube is also a really great place for creators to find an audience on the internet. So if we're really being creator first, we should be helping them find an audience on and off Vimeo. That's why recently we launched new social distribution tools that allow Vimeo users to natively publish their videos with one click to YouTube, to Facebook, to Twitter. By turning our competitors into partners, it's been an extremely popular and differentiated strategy. And it was the focus and the willingness to lead with our mission that helped us find this opportunity. So by this time next year, 80% of consumer internet traffic will be video traffic. And the folks in this room will all be spending an average of 90 minutes a day on digital video. At Vimeo, we are committed to being creator first and creator focused in a world of content wars and ad overload. We're investing in emerging technologies and new ways to empower creators. Everything from player heat maps to dynamic live editing to smart recommendations to immersive video formats. It's a really exciting time. The technology is enabling everyone in this room to be a future filmmaker, to run your own TV studio, to build your own video business. And that's why our future is you. I want to end with an example of a creator who recently inspired me on Vimeo. Brooke is a high school student in Cleveland, Ohio, and she organized a protest on gun violence in response to school shootings in the United States. And she wanted more people to know about her rally. So she went online, and she Googled live streaming, and she found Vimeo. She reached out to us for help, which we of course provided. And Brooke was able to have hundreds of parents, community leaders, and citizens tune in as she exercised her voice. And Brooke is just a great example and a reminder to me of how young people today represent a generation of change. And I believe that as businesses and business leaders, we must do the same. We can't be afraid to change and to change decisively. The world is moving too fast for us not to move with it. Thank you.